Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the Jane McKenzie 365 Healthy by Choice Quantum Medical Center webinar on a Tuesday, where we will be hosting various people, including Professor Deja Dubonnet and Rita Dubonnet, and a host of other people, and talking also specifically about super nutrients. And what do I mean about that? I mean the building block nutrients that we need for our crystalline structure, for our conductivity of our body electric, our battery, for the electrical potential across our cell membranes, which has got to do with oils, and also in particular proteins. So we're going to be looking at the building block proteins today. We're looking at the nucleoproteins, and the product specifically the 365 Healthy by Choice has is the REPLICA RNA DNA. And these are our nucleoproteins. I'm going to be sharing a lot about these with you today and what they do and how important they are. And then we will get onto at another event the importance of the long chain sugars from a carbohydrate perspective. But all of these are on a very high level and do very, very specific, important things for the body, way more important than our normal grains and legumes and vegetables and fruits and nuts. So whilst they're all very important, we have to have this higher level of nutrient available to us. So, for example, of the normal everyday foods, you would get raw dairy sitting at around about 6,000 Armstrong. That's on the Bova scale. And then when you start looking at medicinal mushrooms, bee pollen, royal jelly, propolis, blue-green algae, chlorella spirulina, sprouted greens, organic fruits and nuts, they're sitting on about 9,000 Armstrong on the Bova scale. And then the other nutrients that are really, really way above all of that. And if you think about a sacred site is around about between 11 and 13,000 frequency on the Armstrong on the Bova scale. You would take a product like Almost Gold, which is in the 365 Healthy by Choice stable, and that's alchemical gold, silver, copper, nickel, platinum, palladium, rhodium, osmium, ruthenium, etc. That one is sitting on around about 23,000 Armstrong on the Bova scale. So we talking about some of the products now that are in between the 9,000 and the 23,000, because the Almost Gold is the highest energy, highest frequency, tightest electron spin, highest life force product that we have in our 365 Healthy by Choice stable of products. So the nucleoproteins are in between that band as well. Something like zeolite, which we spoke about last week. And thank you all for coming, and again for being here today and always supporting from around the world. We spoke about the zeolite also in between, and the zeolite being and the Almost Gold, both of them realigning our crystalline structure. And the Almost Gold containing the conductive mineral metals, gold, silver, copper, etc. And we've got a whole host more to share with you. Today specifically, though, the nucleoproteins. So these are the building block proteins for the human genome, the human genetic code. So when you think of the genetic code, you know that there's the mRNA, which is a single strand, and it's got Uracyl, Guanine, Adenine, Thymine. It has 4 protein building blocks, and then it will, as the cell divides and the chromosome splits, the DNA splits into 2, all the little teeth hang down, and already in waiting to join with further nucleoproteins. So you'd be looking at adenine, guanine, thymine, cytosine, and the mRNA that's coming in would be hopefully our human genetic one, and then you get a perfect replication of the human genome. Now, should there be a spike protein or some anomaly in the mRNA that's coming through, you will then end up with an imperfectly divided cell with SNPs, and those SNPs will generally indicate disease. So let me get the cable. I'm going to plug it in now. Hold on a sec. Oh, hope I've got enough time. Right, we done it. We did it. Sorry about that. So if you've got an imperfectly divided cell, from a genetic point of view, there will be preceding sequences that lend themselves towards what we know about diseases, genetic diseases such as diabetes, cancer, hyperlipidemia, high protein deposits as well, eye disorders, cataracts, heart disorders. So there's a specific genetic code with the SNPs in it, the broken parts where the two proteins didn't join properly, and I'll show you what I mean in a moment, that lend themselves directly to diagnosable diseases, named diagnosable diseases. So what we want to make sure, if we're closing all the gaps and coming in with the conductive minerals, gold, silver, copper, etc., coming in with the specific mineral oils, which would be the flaxseed oil. It has the highest life force. If we're talking about the appropriate long chain sugars, they're not sweet. And now we're talking about the appropriate proteins. We have to have them for the survival of the human species, basically, because if the genetic code has got SNPs and breaks and genetic disease patterns, that is a one-way ticket out, because that same gene will replicate in the children, and the children's children, and the children's children's children, and it will happen quicker than before, because what happens is you get the cells replicating at a terrific rate. And the more that they divide, the more sick you become, and that gets passed on to the children at a higher level than when you started, and the disease occurs earlier in the generations. So, that's just the basic story regarding the degradation of the human genetic code. So we want to restore all of this and get back to authenticity, our blueprint, our genetic blueprint. And I think, deep down in the heart of everything that I do is to preserve this genetic code of ours, because that is our blueprint, it is our consciousness. And it also holds our vitality, our life force, because it's the smallest place. So when we, as humans evolving, we are faced with our genetics and our epigenetics. And all of it can be restored emotionally, neurologically, physically, and spiritually. And, we want to leave the planet on a much higher vibrational level, with a far more intact genetic blueprint than our forefathers. And there's no right or wrong here. The genetic imprint of our forefathers or foremothers was there in order to create the chaos for us to repattern out of and leave the planet on a much higher level. So we want to use the chaos and the disorder to repattern ourselves to, I would suggest, block the legacies, break the legacies, close the legacies that our forefathers and foremothers brought through. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about sadness, fear, anger, jealousy, feeling of lack of self-worth, patriarchal behaviors. Those are there as reminders to us to shift and move on in our own lives. But we do need the physical building blocks that are linked, well, interdimensionally to who we really are. So we are, I suppose you could say, spiritual beings in the physical body, come here to make use of the opportunity to shift ourselves to a much higher dimension, using the chaos and the disorder and the toxins of the past, and cleansing ourselves and purifying to a higher level. So what better time now? The more the chaos, bring on the chaos, because the more, the greater and the more we will shift. That's really, how I've explained all of this. It's very simple, and I believe, divine intervention in any event. So let's get on with that. We do lots of family orientation work with our clients at 365 Healthy by Choice, because this genetics and the epigenetics is at the heart of everything. And also doing the genetic and epigenetic work, we will get spontaneous cellular healing, spontaneous growth of telomeres, spontaneous shifts in circulation and in health in general in any event. So we look at it from both aspects, physically, and then also emotionally, spiritually, neurologically, and regarding the genetics. Most important. Okay, so any species that's dying or dying out or whatever, you'll see there's big disruptions in the genetic code. And we've got to stand up and purify our codes and clean them. So we have the ideal products to do this. When we're talking about the RNA and the DNA, let me just share the screen here and see if I've got the thing here. I do have it. Yay. All right. So here is a page out of the 365 Healthy by Choice brochure. And this is the replica RNA DNA page. And then just to read to you, some of the very interesting facts about the nucleoproteins. It is a bacterial cell wall fragment, which has got the perfect genetic codes in it. So the RNA has got 4 and the DNA has got 4 as well. The difference is the RNA has the Uracyl. So there are 5 nucleoproteins altogether. All right. And they make up the dimensions in every cell of our body. And they are the way forward. They are the building block proteins that will then set up the genetic structure for us, set up all the protein building blocks for all the amino acids. For hormone development, for enzyme development, for growth, for repair. So without these, we really are in trouble. So that's why this should be, the nucleoproteins should be, an essential part of anybody's, early morning or evening, routine in terms of what you take. It's essential. It's absolutely essential, because why? We don't eat the hearts and the brains and so on that contain quite a high number of the nucleoproteins. You will get it. You will get quantities in beans and sort of fermented vegetable spreads and things like a Marmite or a Bovril comes to mind. But not nearly enough is what we need for today, because of the effects of radiation, X-ray machines, microwaves, cell phones, toxicity, environmental and chemical toxins, stress, and all the free radicals that are circulating around us. These damage the DNA. They cause the DNA to split off and not to multiply properly, which causes, as I say, these SNPs, which causes the disease. And also, if there's any interference in the mRNA human sequence, then we're going to get this disease as well. So this is very, very, very important. And then also, so they're small organic molecules consisting of a 5-ring sugar, which you'll see down there, ribose or deoxyribose, a nitrogen base, which is will lead to protein, and 1, 2, 3 phosphate groups. All right, and then forms the DNA, and there's the 5 carbon sugars as well, ribose and deoxyribose, ribonucleic acid, and the different nitrogen bases, namely adenine, guanine, thymine, and cytosine. And then you get the Uracyl. And then just another word here. You've all heard of ATP, but who of you have all heard of GTP, CTP, and TTP? So in this bottle, you're not only forming ATP, you are also forming GTP, CTP, and TP. Very, 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 very important. So the medical textbooks and things that you Google are only talking about ATP, the formation of ATP, but what about these other three? So we really do, link it all together for the human body. And, these nucleotides are incredibly, incredibly, incredibly important. They're also grouped as purines and pyrimidenes. So those people that are a little bit gouty for the first week may feel a little bit of discomfort or stiffness, but that soon goes. So nothing has changed here. This is in the exact bacterial cell wall fragment form. It is not being manufactured. It has just been grown off the beneficial bacteria. Okay, and then, introduced to us. We've used this extensively with cancer patients, with asthma patients, with people with burns, people with other skin problems, with the COVID patients, with diabetic patients, anywhere where there's dis-ease, because dis-ease is going to in the cells is going to result in dis-ease in the tissue and dis-ease in the organs and eventually the systems. So we always at 365 Healthy by Choice look at the entire cellular structure of the body, all the cells. We can't help it because our products operate around the entire body and probably in other dimensions around the body too. So does it do this? Does it do that? Of course, because it's working on every single cell. So it knows what to do and it knows where to go. And of course, the diseased cells will start repairing quickly and producing the right human genetic code. We also have ways to push out the wrong mRNA protein structures, and we would use our oxygen for that and our DMSO and our Ormus Gold. We would use a para-immune defense herbal product to also do that. Product science, chemic acid, those kind of products which are in our para-immune defense. Triphala, fruit enzymes, they all work together to push out the wrongly coded mRNA, which is a danger because that will cause disease. So to get back to our authenticity, these are the products that we're using. And then you can see here what the structure looks like. There's adenine and there's thymine, guanine and cytosine. So the A and T will always join together. C and G will always join together. So if you're missing guanine, you're going to have a SNP. And in that particular genetic structure will cause disease. So you can line the desk or the table with green juices and bottles of this mineral and that vitamin and this specific stem cell and all those kind of things. But if you don't have the basic proteins, you're not going to get a proper chromosome forming, a proper genetic structure, and the protein amino acids that develop from there. So these five, or let's call it four, so far as the DNA sequence is concerned, are absolutely essential. We can't do without them. There's not enough in our diet, and we're requiring more and more and more than our forefathers and our foremothers. So you can see here the phosphate, and you can see the sugar. And they're all held together with hydrogen bonds, and these are called base pairs. So, I just call this, restoring the human genome, because that's exactly what we're doing. And there is what we call the nucleotide, the amino acid, protein, the sugar, and the phosphate. So I don't know if you've got any questions on that, but these are the backbone of our our growth, our development as humans, because of the nature of the 4 building block proteins. So I hope, that makes sense to you. And if you can just imagine the DNA strand unraveling into 2, and then the mRNA strand coming in here and binding with this one, another mRNA strand coming in here and binding with that one, and all the the G and the C, the A and the T lining up together properly in the authentic human genetic code. And then we can remove disease and dis-ease in all the cells. So this product you would take dosage wise, you would take 2 capsules a day for 50 kilograms and under, 4 capsules a day for 70 kilograms and under. However, having said that, you can double the dose easily. So when it's really chronic, there's no problem to double the dose. And I would actually recommend that, to really speed up disease. And there's many clinical trials looking at top athletes that have fallen flat for one reason or another, and within 3 days they're up and exercising like top performing all over again. And this is one of the products that they do take. So I don't know if you've got any questions about this specifically, but I just find this really exciting and really. It's not breaking groundbreaking, because it's been here all the time. I mean, I was first introduced to this when I was in Russia about 6 years ago, and they brought along some RNA, and I thought, gee, wow, this is amazing. How does this work? And so then it came to me again, and we were able to use it. So together with the almost gold, which encourages the DNA strand to unravel and gives it a chance to roll up again. If you've got the A, G, C, and T proteins, you give it a second chance to strengthen and recode. And at the same time, you've got the Uracyl in the mRNA, which is bringing in new, correctly coded mRNA strands. And, that's the sum total with us. So let's just have a look at some of the other areas where it works absolutely beautifully. Let's take the gut. It will clean the villi and close all the leaky gut holes for you. So you get almost instant gut relief and repair starting immediately. You would definitely have to use it with an oil like the flaxseed oil. You would definitely use it with a para-immune defense herbal parasite detox, with oxygen, with a DMSO, with the almost gold, our usual array of reset products, because they're all going to work in combination. And, as you reduce the parasite population, you also mending the gastrointestinal tract, and this one is doing it for you. And at the same time, it will repair the brain, because the gut and the brain are so linked. And also the lungs, because the lungs is also a mucous membrane. The reproductive area is also a mucous membrane. So the mucous membranes are really, really restored beautifully with this, but every single cell will restore as well. And, the overall functioning of the cell, the energy, because you've got the ATPase, the GTP, CTP, and the TTP, which I showed you earlier. So you're getting fourfold of energy coming through. I find that's fascinating and amazing. And thanks again to our beneficial microbes for producing this for us at this point in time in our lives, where we can do with it, especially. So that's it. Yes, you wouldn't even know you're taking it. There's absolutely no gastrointestinal response at all, except improvement. So I would strongly suggest anybody who's got a degenerative disease or been exposed to COVID, especially the long-term COVID people, they should definitely get onto this. Anyone with genetic diseases, diabetes, for example, the cancers, they need to be on this product. Okay, so it's on special at the moment because we have our Black Friday deals. So you're getting 30% off, which is an absolute win. Buy 3, save your money, get 3 months in of your nucleoproteins. You will notice your skin, you will notice your energy. And if you bring in the active stem cells as well into this whole stable of what we've been talking about, then you are also producing the adult stem cells. So I think those are on the special. I'm not 100% sure, but the microbiome definitely is. The oils are definitely, the Ormus is definitely on special. And the cell oxygen is cell oxygen capsules. We've got a variety of stress defense shield, brain fuel, because they contain also the building blocks. So the other products that will encourage mRNA production would be pollen and chlorella. So pollen is in our stable. Last week we talked about on Thursday about enzymes and the importance of pollen, propolis, royal jelly, honey to bring in enzymes. So they're doing that. They've also got a major function to synthesize mRNA. And that's what I said to you. These in the beginning, these nutrients are on a much higher level. They're much more supercharged, much more life force. And, they're just not the everyday foods. They're food as medicine. And I think that's what Hippocrates meant. So we will all be on these foods at some stage to ward off invading parasites, infections, and to have proper growth and development. For cartilage, yes, definitely. You would definitely use it for the cartilage. And if you care to text me on my WhatsApp, which I'll put down here, I will give you a recipe for cartilage regrowth. So it is a there's an animal form and a plant-based form of recipe that we can put together to regrow cartilage. So I would use the replica RNA. I would definitely use the stem cells. I would definitely use Ormus Gold, because that has an unbelievable effect on the bone and the joints and the bone marrow as well, which is going to strengthen your immunity too. But getting back to that, yes. And then I would also use, if it's bone and joints, just to say that we have a plant-based collagen. So that's very exciting, especially because we see so many people with protein buildup, so many people with insufficient protein enzyme being secreted by the pancreas into the gut, insufficient protein metabolism by the liver, and then huge amounts of protein buildup in the kidneys. So that will lead to stones, calcification. So if you throw an animal collagen at that person, in other words, if they keep, they consume it, you're going to absolutely, insult that kidney even more. You're going to accumulate even more protein and more calcification around the body. So we specially made a plant-based vegan collagen, and we're getting fantastic results with that too. So yeah, that's also important. And let me see what else you're saying here. Yeah. Yes, so any of these, degenerative diseases, the autoimmunes, the lupuses, those kind of things, we've got to get the cell operating properly. So if what you're doing and what you're taking is not doing that, then you're not going to get a result. You're wasting your money and your time. So we have to get the crystalline structure back into the cell, and the cytoplasm and the interstitial fluid, all the water of the body. We have to get that crystalline structure back, the orientation, the quantum orientation of every single cell, the water in the body, our cells, scalar wave. We have to get that orientation. So the ormus, the zeolite are critical, and then these are the proteins. And the flaxseed oil is critical because that is realigning the body, the electrical potential. And remember, the crystalline structure is held together by all these things. So the bone is a crystalline structure. Yeah, so I would definitely use the ormus, the zeolite there. I've got a bone marrow and joint herbal product too, and it's got all sorts of wonderful things, including frankincense and boswellia, which will also restore the crystalline structure of the bone. Remember, the bone is growing. It's not a stick that's just stuck there. It really is growing. The cells are growing. It's growing slower than the intestinal wall, for example, but it is growing. So, yeah, I found that very exciting. Thanks for that question, indeed. And I hope this has given you a lot of food for thought. And more on the website, the 365 healthybychoice.com website, more on the Jane McKenzie YouTube channel, and also on Facebook, Jane McKenzie, or another one, 365 Healthy by Choice. I have a lot of courses, especially on, there's a lovely one on RNA and DNA. That course is great. I recommend it. And we got some good testimonies on that one as well. And you know, read and absorb what is on the website. It's a bit of an encyclopedia of information. And yeah, I hope this has taken you to the next level, and I've enjoyed being with you, and there'll be more next Tuesday. So the Tuesdays I'm taking the very special products and sharing them, and then posting the YouTubes. And then on a Thursday, we're doing practical case studies on the Jane Live Miracle Medicine, where we talk about patients that have got better, clients that have got better. And so that's always something to look forward to as well. And I look forward to being with you then too. So if there are no more questions, that's great. And I assume you are all now experts in the nucleotides, and go well and use them well. Until next time. Bye.